got excited because I'm offering a Dia de los Muertos group psychic reading on November 1st from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. PST via Zoom. And I'm going to keep looking at my notes because as I was getting really excited about this today, I started getting a major download. And so I wanted to share the download, and it's a lot, and I wrote notes. And so here I am looking at my computer notes. So as I was thinking about this gathering that I'm going to be facilitating on Dia de los Muertos, I could feel my own excitement, but I could also feel the excitement, the love from the ancestors, from the people on the other side that care about us, that want to have a relationship with us. And as I was feeling this love and connection with them, I also simultaneously started to realize that there's still fear in our collective about spirit communication. And even though people celebrate Dia de los Muertos and celebrate this connection that still exists with people on the other side, there is still fear of communicating with spirit. And so I've gotten this download before, but it came to me again, and I'm like, okay, I need to share this with people. It's on my website in a very short way. But the longer explanation of this fear is that the fear of communicating with spirit at this point within indigenous communities could be considered transgenerational trauma. And so transgenerational trauma is a survival response that is passed down through generations for the sake of survival. So our ancestors communicated with spirit. They had their own way of doing so. Before colonized religions came in, our people were communing with spirit, and then they were killed for it. And so that's the moment when our ancestors were harmed for communicating with people on the other side, their ancestors, our ancestors, and then they were harmed for it. That's the moment that something happened in our DNA, and we started to pass it down to generations before us that communicating with spirit in our own way is dangerous, and we could be harmed and or killed for it. So they were killed, the knowledge was burned, and because speaking with spirit directly and practicing our own form ended someone in our bloodlines' lives, it was passed down to us. So naturally, we would have this creepy feeling about thinking about communicating with people on the other side. And not only would we have a creepy feeling about it, but maybe other people in our culture might also start to warn us about the dangers of communicating with spirit, because they also have this imprint in their DNA that communicating with people on the other side can lead to death. And so it started to make so much more sense why there would be hesitation about communicating with people on the other side. After I realized this is natural, of course, this is our survival response. So in addition to that, my psychic development teacher said that fear, doubt, and ego are the things that disconnect us from being connected to our birthright of being psychic. And so she has an online psychic development course, and in the fear chapter, she talks about how we've been conditioned to fear our own psychic ability and the psychic ability of others deliberately to keep us disconnected. So I wanted to throw that out there because fear in general, not only is it a transgenerational trauma thing at this point, it's also something that is used deliberately to keep us from that birthright. And so I started to also remember that when my dad, I've been reading cards and doing psychic readings officially for 17, 18 years. And I was intuitive, etc., from, a child and stuff like that. But officially reading for other people, it was 17, 18 years ago. And so I remember my dad was with me when I got my first oracle deck, and he was not happy about it. He was saying that his grandma would not be supportive of that. He was just not good. He had this sensation. And now that I know what I know about transgenerational trauma, it just makes so much sense. And it makes me really understand where he was coming from and where other people are coming from when they experience this fear. So the reality of transgenerational trauma is that we gained it from our ancestors who were harmed for practicing our own indigenous ways of connecting with spirit. And knowing that is worth it because of now that you know that this is happening, that this could be happening in your DNA, you have the opportunity to investigate if communicating with Great Spirit and passed over ancestors or friends is a threat to your life today, in the same way that it was a threat to your ancestors' lives back in the day when they did get persecuted and or killed for it. So when you investigate it, if you come to the realization that it's not currently life-threatening, aka there's nobody threatening your life right now because of it, then you get to choose to tend to your nervous system and you get to create safety in your body on purpose. And doing so can be as simple as feeling the fear, acknowledging it, and then reorienting your body to the present moment by just noticing that you're in a safe environment right now. Like right now, I am in my house. I am safe. There's no one here threatening me. And just being able to orient myself to that reality, that is me tending to my nervous system in relation to this transgenerational trauma. So I have some self-reflective questions about this, and I'm going to be reflecting on it, and I would love to invite you into this reflection as well. So if you knew that you were safe to be psychic or be intuitive, how would that shift our collective DNA going forward, now that you know what you know? The other question that I want to contemplate, and I invite you to contemplate with me, what would the impact of passing on the message, it's safe to connect with spirit, to future generations? What if what if you interrupted this transgenerational imprint and we started realizing that it's safe for us to connect with spirit? What would the impact of passing that down via our DNA to the next generation be? And then the next one is, how is creating safety in this way connected to decolonizing myself from within and returning to my personal sovereignty? So I'm going to be reflecting on this. Please let me know what happens when you contemplate these questions as well. I would love to be in contact about this. So a couple of things about what I talked about. If you want to learn more about what inhibits you from your birthright of being psychic, my teacher Jacinta had created a psychic development course where I learned everything I learned about connecting with my spirit guides and getting into a psychic state on purpose. She goes over like what blocks you. She gives you techniques and practices to communicate with spirit, and then she has guided visualizations, and also she teaches like protection, psychic protection, and things like that. So if you're interested in learning more of that stuff, DM me and I'll hook you up with her link. I am not getting paid. This is not a paid advertisement. I just really love her. I love her teaching, and it's what skyrocketed me into my deliberate psychicness. Like I said, I was intuitive since I was a child, but after going through her psychic development course and having her as a one-on-one teacher, it really gave me the skills and tools that I have built everything on today. So that's why I'm like, plug in her. Also, so I'll send you her link if you want, just DM me. But as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, that I am doing a Dia de los Muertos group psychic reading on November 1st. It's going to be on Zoom, and it's going to be a really amazing gathering. I really want to invite you, and I invite you to invite your friends and family. I was hearing some of the ancestors this morning kind of being like, it's a family affair. So I'm like, that's silly and awesome, and I love it. So what we're going to be doing in that group psychic reading is, one, we will be creating an altar, a virtual altar. So I'll be inviting people that join to bring a photo of their passed over loved ones or some items that remind them of their passed over loved ones that we can add to our virtual altar. We're going to be creating connection with the ancestors and friends that have passed over by sharing stories and memories of them. And then I will facilitate a guided visualization to help us open ourselves up to their messages. And then I'll be channeling a message from the collective of ancestors present for everyone that is there. And then you'll also have an opportunity to ask your loved ones a question, and then I'll channel the answer. And then after the gathering, I'll send you journal prompts to help you reflect on the experiences that you had and how you connected with your loved one, and tips to maintain connection with them going forward. So this is going to be a really jam-packed offering with a lot of love and communication. And so I invite you to come and join. Right now you can get tickets via my link in bio. And right now it's pre-ticket sales until the 24th, and then after that it's going to be general ticket sales, so you can grab a discount if you get your tickets early. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you there. Don't forget to let me know what those contemplations brought.